This week's video, we're taking these sketchbooks and we're throwing them away. So we'll be looking at getting loose and unbound. You know, sometimes I do enjoy a sketchbook, but it can be a little restrictive and I don't really have too much patience. I don't know about you. So I never want to wait for the pages to dry. That's actually why I'll work in multiple ones if I'm working. Or a lot of the times my process is a rotation. I'll work on something large. I'll use the paint and move into the sketchbook, and then I'll like move into the paper. Whoa! And I'll also make a mess in the process. I love a good mess. And we can always clean it up. I'm Natalie Didamio. I'm a mixed media abstract artist, soulful creator, intuitive guidance channel, and here we just get a little colorful and we don't have to be so serious. I do enjoy the deep philosophical things of life and speaking into those moments, and but I'm also very silly. And, you know, it's never just one thing. So I'm interested in looking at all the in-betweens and kind of exposing that and opening the doors to more here on this channel through conversation, through creativity, through art making, and through just the moment. And that's important to me, because lots of things have shown me that it's not always what it seems. And when we start to like uncover and discover more of ourselves, we'll really be, you know, more open in the process. And we don't have to hide, and we don't have to shut down, and we can just come back into the center of awareness. And then that's when we can start, you know, really creating those marks and those moments, moving through the memory, the emotion, and all the juicy stuff. This is just a fun exploration of why, for me, I prefer loose sheets over bound books. So here we are with a book. And when we're working on like loose sheets of paper, we can just use these binder clips, which you could just find in the office supply store, maybe even like your dollar store. You know, any 9x12 acid-free heavyweight paper, 140 pound, is gonna work. But I do really like the Canson brand, the Canson XL. You know, we can get so hung up on materials, but if you're asking me, and this is gonna be a different conversation depending on who you're asking, I think it's really you, the artist and the creator, who's doing the work, not necessarily the material. But I'm not gonna like be ignorant and say there isn't like higher priced material, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to like stop yourself from starting. And I know for a long time I personally did stop myself, especially when we're in this, like, if we're beginners and we're like moving into this like new moment, we're just experimenting. Shoot, I like to just grab some loose leaf paper and play with that. You know, grab some scrap paper. Printer paper would be really good. You're probably not going to be able to get this paper real wet, but if you want to like experiment, you know, you could test it out and see what happens. One of the reasons I like to work on loose pages is because I don't always have the patience for my sketchbook to dry, and I love an automatic and immediate process, and I'm kind of always looking for that. So there really is no wrong way to start here. I'm just applying some paint. Now, if you are used to working in a sketchbook, just think about these pages as, you know, loose sketchbook pages. And of course, you might not be doing it this way. You're going to do it your way. And you want to just start to come into relationship with the materials, with the marks, with the moment. So in regards to I'm thinking of these pages like a sketchbook, right? So you want to find the fun, find the color, find the line. Ooh. And just kind of have a moment, an expression, an experience. I suppose, like, even in a sketchbook, maybe I would do a couple passes sometimes, but, you know, it's just depending on the day, the moment, the mood, and, like, what you, the artist, the creator, wants to do, and what you're most interested in. So in that regard, like, there isn't a right or wrong, because it's your expression. And that's, like, the challenge, too, as a beginner, right? A lot of times when we're unsure or we want to make that next move and that change, we're looking for the answer outside of ourselves, which is like you know, a dangerous place to be. Because, you know, it kind of is derived from safety. If I make this decision, is it gonna work out? You can never really think that through. You kind of have to choose to live in the moment, choose to go have the experience, choose to make that mark, choose to move into that expression, and you know, see what's there on the way down. And this is where we get stuck, right? Not just in art, but in life, where we can kind of not make that move, or not choose what's important to us, out of fear of. The funny thing is, it's the fear of making a mistake or it not being the wrong thing, but you never know until you choose it or try. And if you don't try, you never know. It's like one of those conundrums and complex things. So when we're just working in a sketchbook, though, and treating these loose pages as sketchbook pages, we can kind of start to get a feel for what's going on in the day, whenever you're starting this, and give yourself like an experience and an opportunity. The reason why I'm working loosely is because, see, to me this feels complete. And when I'm kind of engaging the energy, the feeling, the experience I just had, and then like letting it, I want to let it rest. That doesn't mean that maybe I wouldn't go back to it, but for me, I want to throw it on the floor. No, I want to have a new experience, and I want it to be immediate because I'm training myself to be in the moment, and the quicker I go, the easier it is for me to open up. And I think this is a good practice of like learning how to let go. And we're always doing that too, right? So I'm just enjoying the moment and the mark. And sometimes that's all these kinds of explorations are. These are gel sticks by King Art. I really like them. They feel like lipstick. And if we're thinking about them as sketchbook pages, we don't really have to be that involved. But then again, it's your practice and it's your decision of like what you want to do for this day, or what you not want to do for that matter. So I'm paying attention to all the subtle nuances, like the way I'm holding the thing, the way I'm breathing, if I'm holding my breath. If it breaks, which it just did. These are really nice. These, I don't know if I'm gonna butcher it. Charvine, Paris. I'm not. They're water-soluble pastel paint sticks, but they tend to break. I still really like the texture of them, so I'll use them anyway. So this feels about good too, and I'm just gonna move into the next page. Really do 4 here, just so you get the idea. Sometimes it's just about like taking a piece of paper and having that be the paintbrush. And when we're talking about like intuition, it's maybe not thinking ahead or not pre-planning. It's kind of like being in the moment, being present. For me, it even goes a little bit deeper. Sometimes I hear a color or see a color, or you just like know and feel and sense your color because you've been working with it for so long. And then maybe you are thinking, in this case I have a red, orange, yellow. So it's a warm experience right now in relationships to color. But I do think about it, but I really don't think about it. I was realizing the other day is when you have enough experience with all the colors you work with, like the spray paint or the Liquitex basics, the other, tube paint. Once you know what these are, these kind of become your mark making tools as well, because they'll have a different application and sensibility. And you'll start to just kind of move with your own color. So now maybe I want to bring in a little bit of blue because, well, I love blue. No, but it's a nice complement to this peachy, orange, red. That's stuff that becomes automatic the more you work, but you gotta work. You gotta do the work. Only you can do the work. Let's move back into building these books now and I could show you. These are just some binder clips. You can get them at the office supply store and pick them up. I'm gonna use some stuff that I've already had for a while laying around here. And we could go through it for a little bit. One thing about having the loose sheets that's nice is that I can like start to build these relationships, and I can rotate them out, so I can, and if I took everything off my wall, which I'm not gonna do, I could even hang them up and they would create, you know, we'll start to see a pattern emerge. You could lay them out on the table, whatever you wanted to do. But these have been, you know, created over the last few years, and I'll just use like maybe a plastic bin to like store them in. And essentially, once I have a nice pile, I'll just do my easy pseudo book, because it's not like really bound. But if I want to be able to contain it, I just want to clip it together, and voila, you know, instant book. The nice thing about this, right, is, okay, so on this top one, for me, I feel like this could be like a one-off. I could say this is X amount of dollars. It's called The Field. If you're interested, just DM me and we can work it out. But that's the thing. There you go. You could take this and sell it. So you can be thinking in like a lot of different ways. But I liked keeping this one. This says it's from 2020. See, there's many years here. I've been working away. And you know what will happen? Let me go through right now and I'll show you a crazy thing that I do from time to time. I'll go through the stuff that I have that's been years, and I'll look for one that I'm not attracted to anymore. Oh, maybe this one. And here's what I'll do. Ready? Are you ready? I'll be like, it's just time to get rid of this one. And and it won't be in my pile anymore. So that's always good to do. I recommend sometimes just ripping it up, getting rid of it. I think when we can do that, we can really start to get like more secure with ourselves, like, because people aren't gonna like our work, and that's really hard when you're face to face watching someone look at your work and you know they don't like it, or they just walk right past it, or they just like walk away. It's not the easiest thing to deal with. But when you can get comfortable with like destroying your own work, you can kind of get a little more comfortable when the people do not like it. It's still gonna suck, but you know, this is how we build our inner resilience and our strength. That's just a secret little thing that I do. Of course, you could always paint over it too, but sometimes it's just satisfying to just rip it right up and throw it away and move on. So here we have like, I'll bring some, this is something I did this week. So look at that. This is, you know, these aren't all marked because I didn't label them because I'm not that organized. The truth comes out. But what we got here, or what we have here, sorry, what we have here is, you know, something done at least a couple years ago in the last few years, and something new. And I can see like a relationship there, you know, and I could see like a good movement, and these are the things we want to pay attention to over time, and not just over time, but when we're in the work, building these relationships and these color combinations. And probably what I notice is I do gravitate towards the same colors. I don't tend to use a lot of purple personally. But, you know, or green is starting to happen more and more. But see, those things change too. Just because you love color, it doesn't mean you don't have your own nuances or ways of working, or, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, when we pay attention to these marks and these movements, and when we have the loose pages, we can really just start to rotate out the experience, and we can start to like look through over time, like what was going on. It doesn't mean we'll always have an answer. I really like this one, and I could see it being 30 by 40 inch, but I just haven't taken it there yet. So sometimes these small ones will inspire the larger ideas, and maybe we're not ready for the larger ideas, but that doesn't mean they're not happening in the process. And that's exciting. So this is one way to use loose pages. So the other thing I like about having loose sheets of paper and making these books with the clips and working like in a loose sketchbook way is that you can then, you know, use whatever sheet you're interested in, and you can use it as a collage piece. Because when you're scaling the work, you know, you maybe want bigger sheets of paper going into the work. So I've been using the loose sheets and sketchbook pages, so sometimes they inspire me and I pull them into this bigger work. So here I have another example of putting this paper into a larger piece, and sometimes I have the smaller papers. What happens is, for me, these mark making pieces can become another piece, but like you don't have to do that. That's kind of new to me anyway. I'm just getting started with the way my whole process really works, and that's an ongoing thing and discovery. And then if we come over to this smaller, large, medium piece, you'll see the same thing. I was building off of my own ideas, and also here's a quick cheater thing. You want to get that hard line in there. Well, slap some paper in there and you automatically have the hard line, and that creates a difference, right? But I don't always like to think about a hard line, so I'll find it in a different kind of way. And that's another good tip, is like if you don't really like an element or an idea of a composition or design, but you still want to like think about it, you can add in your own understanding and relationship to around the idea and find your own way. That's exciting. So there's so many ways we can like work with these loose sheets and be inspired, and keeping our process going cyclically, and that is really exciting to me and interesting. So I hope this inspired you just a little bit. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper, I have a class that's now available called Unleashing Creative Freedom, where it's just taking these works on paper a little bit deeper, because it's a layered paper and paint process. I cover energy, emotion, childlike wonder, and intuition, and how the energy and the emotion connects into the intuition. That's how I see it, and that's available. I'll put it in the link below. So thank you for being here. And you know, one of the biggest things that is most interesting to me is just how we can show up to our creativity and our lives, become more of us in the whole process. And that's why I'm interested in my own world, and moving into that like deeper connection, and having an expression out not just in the artwork, but in the voice and in the like presencing and being comfortable to like be you in all of it. So in this week's video, we're tossing out the sketchbooks. I didn't know how loud it was gonna be.